Hello, this is Ted Bryan in Columbia, Maryland, and today I wanted to go over quickly what an AdWords campaign is all about using pay-per-click through Google search engine. So in this case, wanted to at least make clear to you that when you're paying for an ad through pay-per-click, those paid ads end up here on the right side of a search results page. And the idea is, of course, to get your ad showing up on page one. In this case, I am right here, Carbon Copy Pro exposed. This is me here, globalinfoforyou.com. That's my main sales page, my branded website. And Carbon Copy Pro, I've placed in front of that to try to draw attention to this particular ad. Anytime the keyword phrase, in this case Carbon Copy Pro, that was a search words that prospects are using, anytime that is part of your ad, it will be highlighted like Carbon Copy Pro. And in fact, the word pro here is also highlighted. So the idea again is to get on page one, and out of, what is it, 1,330,000 for that search, I am on page one and in a pretty good position here on spot number 3 from the top. So if we do another quick search for Carbon Copy Pro review, I'll just highlight it, and let's see where we are this time. Right here on spot number 2. So that's pretty good also. Carbon Copy Exposed, again, this is my name here, horrible drawer. Let's see, so how did I get there? We're driving traffic using the idea of cross-recruiting, and all that means is you're going after potential prospects looking for other companies, and you want to put an ad up with a capture page explaining why they may want to take a look at yours versus these other programs out there. It's getting millions of people to look at your website. Fastest way to do that is with a pay-per-click campaign, and cross-recruiting is a way to really target the type of people you want looking at your website. And here, let's see if I can click on my back office of my keyword campaign. Actually, let's go to the actual Carbon Copy Pro. This is the actual campaign, and we want to look at your click-through rate, which is highlighted here under CTR, and that basically gives you an idea of, based on how many impressions, that's this column here, and the number of clicks. So 6,411 impressions, that's how many times it was exposed on the internet, with 174 people actually clicking on it. Gives you a click-through rate of 2.71%. Now, that's pretty good. You want to try to have a click-through rate of around, or a solid 2%. Anything above 1%, 1.5% is good. So we're almost at 3%, which is that's good. That's kicking it pretty well there. And then the other thing you want to look at here is we might have to move the cursor over here so you can see this. Okay, so now we're looking at the cost for conversion and the conversion rate. You want to be above 10%, and I am well above 10% at 23.5%. And my cost per conversion is $3.70. Now, it cost me 87 cents per click on average. Again, this is an average of all the keywords. I'm going to show you the actual keywords in a moment. But it's cost me $3.70 for each person that actually ends up landing on my branded sales page. So again, and the statistics of 23% is just showing you that. Now, why is it more than 87% or 87 cents over here? People go to my capture page. They may not opt in to get more information and to lead them over to my sales page. So it goes from my capture page to my sales page, my branded page. And those that do, that's where the numbers come from, and that's why by the time they get over there, it's costing me $3.70. But that's a highly targeted lead, so it's well worth it. And I'm developing these leads versus buying them off of the internet. So this is one way you can drive traffic to your site, and you develop your own leads. Now, what are the keywords involved? We've got, let me close this out. The actual keywords vary here. I've got a number of them similar, but they either have quotations, brackets, or nothing at all. And these are the keywords, and you'll see here that the actual number of impressions right here will vary from 279 to 3,000. And you'll notice some of these over here, these are on pause. The ones that are highlighted in green mean they're actually, online and being used. So you want to look at the clicks versus the impressions and click-through rate. Out of 3,000 impressions, 62 people clicked on it, so that was a click-through rate of 2%. Again, it's a solid 2%. Now here we're looking at click-through rate, of 3.61%. So that's really good there. 105 people out of 2,906 actually, went to that or clicked on that particular ad. Now the other thing you want to look at is your conversion rate, which is up here. And I've got for that particular keyword Carbon Copy Pro, which is in quotes versus not in quotes, just a bracket. You're looking at 27% conversion rate. Again, you want to be around at least 10% as a minimum. And for this keyword, it's costing me $3.13. Carbon Copy Pro in that is in quotes. Carbon Copy Pro in brackets is actually costing me twice as much because it's just a way the numbers work here. I've got 62 clicks out of 3,000 versus 105 out of 29. So I may want to actually, put this particular keyword on pause because it's costing me more than maybe I want to spend. Conversion rate, though, is still pretty good at 14.5%. Again, looking at 10% being your minimum. Let's see. So pop out of that real quick. Now these other keywords that I have listed here, what I learned was that you want to keep things separate in different categories in your campaign. So the idea is to have all your systems, and there's a number of them out there. You want a campaign just for that. You want another campaign for programs like Wealth Masters, the actual product or program, like Amway would be a product or program. You'd put all those in one particular category in your AdWords campaign. And then you can also, same thing with the names of particular people that you want to cross-recruit from. Jay Kupasek is names here. And again, you're just cross-recruiting from these different programs to drive traffic to your website. Let's see. So let's move that back up. So again, the idea is the fastest way to get people to your site is by placing an ad, and these are pretty cheap, as you noticed, 87 cents to $3 per click. Well, it's 87 cents per click, but by the time they get to your sales page, your branded page, you've got a highly targeted lead, and that's worth $3 because depending on how much commission you're going to earn when they make a sale. I make $1,000 usually is when people come into my program, so it's well worth it. Now, the way you get to the first page like this is by having a highly relevant ad. Again, the highly relevant meaning people are clicking on my ad, or it's showing up on page one because people are actually clicking on this ad and finding it to be relevant. So my capture page in this ad, people are clicking on it, and the more popular it gets, then it ends up on page one. Out of this case, 1,810,000. So it's just a matter of being trained and learning how to write your ad and having a capture page that actually represents what your ad is all about. Because if you lead them to an ad that's really not talking about Carbon Copy Pro, it's not going to be clicked on, or if it's clicked on, it's going to bounce, meaning they end up over there at your capture page, and immediately they're going to click off of it. And that sends a signal to Google that it's not a very relevant page. So you're not going to end up anywhere near page 1. In fact, you may disappear completely. So out of, again, 1,810,000 possible related ads for this, we've got, I'm on page 1, and that's really nice. So with that, again, take a look at the rest of this page. I think you should be looking at this. You're probably on my branded page, Global Info for You. And if you're not, please go there, globalinfoforyou.com, and study that page, because I put a lot of, really relevant information on how to make money on the internet using your computer. It's just a matter of finding the right program and having the right mentor to help you through all the stages. Okay, with that, I wish you well, and hopefully you will talk someday on the phone. Make sure you see globalinfoforyou.com, and have a great day.